Boom, hey internets. Definitely wanted to make this video, been wanting to make it. I've been a little bit busy. If you've been following me on Instagram, you see I've had a couple of features and speaking engagements. But as this is post dating, we are still very much in the depth of a worldwide pandemic. Also, I would say that the tone that I have for retail in my channel in general seems very bleak, and some of you have brought this up to me for sure. I would say when I consult with a lot of brands, I lean towards making sure that they have their own e-commerce ecosystem set in place. It's very important that one of your biggest vendors is your direct to consumer, is what I generally say. Now, I also have said that the answers that I give you on this channel are general. They're for a company where I don't know any details about you. This is why consulting is important and has become one of the biggest parts of my working career with all the brands that I do one-on-ones with. And from that, I want to say I have real life case studies, and I can't share the name. I haven't spoken to those companies, and of course I keep that confidential. If someone is consulting with me now, when they see this video, if they want to speak about their success, that's completely on them. Most companies tend to be somewhat secretive about their financial movements, but the whole importance of this is to say that retail is not dead. Even though I speak of it with less of emphasis, it is a very viable way to get distribution dollars for your clothing brand. Now, one of the reasons I'm usually don't push it as much is because it's difficult sometimes. These shops get inundated with brands, and brands are getting created every single minute. The barrier to entry, as I have said on multiple videos, is very small when it comes to starting a brand. You know, you could start a brand by the time I'm done with this video. But having said that, I have a brand that switched their model from direct to customer, where in 1 year the most that they did was 60K, and they said, you know what, I'm sure they're getting fed up, and so they said, let's just try this. And I'm not sure how the initial first shop happened, but once he made that introduction and started selling wholesale, he actually did 3K in the first month just with that shop. Obviously, you have to make your prices wholesale, so you lose that margin, as I talk about all the time, right? But this company was able to move way more product, and then he liked that a lot more because now you're handling one person, one shop owner, who then is gonna make a mass order. So he goes to his vendor to make the shirt, and it's one big bulk order, and then no terms. So he got the check up front, okay, upon delivery of the goods, and that was that. So that's X amount of product that he sold. So this particular retail owner has a lot of family that's involved in retail of streetwear shop, a whole network, and I'm talking about probably from coast to coast. So it's a lot of these tight-knit kind of family-owned companies where they say, hey, this is doing really well in my shop, I'm gonna put you onto my cousin, etc, etc, etc. Now, that is something I've observed at the last company that I was with, but knowing that the bond is so strong with this company that I talked to is really interesting to see. So I saw the numbers, and so in the last 3 months, this particular company did 120,000, and so has completely abandoned, not completely abandoned, but has stopped focusing on direct to customer and is now trying to service these companies. So it was interesting to see, it's refreshing to see, because that's the way we did business 100%. When I got into the industry, which is 20 years ago, when I began designing at a small skate company in San Diego and then went on to work for companies in LA and Orange County, it was all about getting your accounts. Now that faltered from 2007, and then the mortgage crash, a lot of those guys shut down. But the big focus of this video is say there's still retail out there. Malls are going down, but some of these boutique shops can kind of dodge that. Some of them are in strip malls, and so don't underestimate a shop just because it's not the most beautifully curated shop. Sometimes there's street dudes with money, and so it's not to be underestimated the kind of buying power that could happen in there. Now, you have to make sure it's a good fit for your brand and your brand story and all of that, but real life case study, during these very difficult times, this brand did 120,000 in the last 3 months of this pandemic time. In fact, that's why he was pushed to call me for consulting, because his business is exploding in this time and needed some direction. So we're gonna be working closely together. But I wanted to bring that video to say this is a good time to launch a brand. That sounds counterintuitive, but again, one of the things I published on my social media is there is opportunity in chaos. So know that there's opportunity in chaos. And I don't want to put it as a crazy blanket statement, but if you're smart about the way you proceed, there's certain things right now that are huge assets, right? For example, more people are online, and so a great time to blow up your social media, as I said in the beginning videos that I did as we began to enter the pandemic. But focusing on that media, you can grow a lot faster right now because the world is watching right now because everyone's at home. And so there's different things that you can use to leverage to gain market share and succeed. But during the last economic downshift that we had in America in 2007 after the mortgage, there was a lot of big companies that launched in and around that time if you look back. And so while it's counterintuitive, people are making money, and this might be a good time for you to launch. And I'm usually very reserved about that, but I want to make sure that people are smart first, but hopeful and able to see that there is a way to succeed even with apparel now in one of the craziest times that we will ever live through. Continuing on that note, if you are a company that's looking to really try their hand at wholesale and really kind of attack whatever retail that you want to target, I have a lot of weapons that I've created on Clothing Brand Academy and just gone to the wayside. But ever since consulting with this company, I'm realizing, wow, these are really going to come in handy right now. So I have templates for forming a retail list and targeting your actual retail. So, you know, it's as simple as finding the shops that have a stock list or where they're getting carried and taking down the information of those shops, finding all their information. So I have lists that will organize that for you. I have it all in a bundle, but all of these are different templates that help you with your wholesale game. So again, as it was a big focus for the companies before, these are all templates that have been created, merged together from all of the companies that I worked for, and I've made them myself. So you can trust that they're thorough, and obviously they're editable towards what you need for your company. But all of these are weapons for you to cut your time in half and be very clear and organized so that anyone in your organization can access that. Whether you have a sales guy and he's gonna have his list of accounts, but you can have your list of accounts and say, I already have contact with these people, so I have a relationship already, but I want you to continue that, etc. And making notes on it, making sure you know who the owners are, who the head buyers are, and that sort of thing. And of course, financial, I have the master budget that helps you forecast all of that. Along with it, you're going to need to start planning your drops seasonally if retail becomes a big part of your business. So I have a template for that as well. So go on to CBA, check out all these things. They're very underpriced for the type of value, time you could save, and clarity that it brings you and your team, right? Once you see those notes, those notations, or those columns on the sheet, you'll know that it's important. So take a look at those. It'll really help curb your time and get straight to the meat of the process of really trying to curate your list of who's gonna be able to work with you to help bring in dollars and move product for your brand. Hope that helps. Continue the conversation below if you had questions, anything you want to add to the conversation. Follow me on social media when you get a chance. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.